What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to briefly talk about Concord. You know, this is a big weekend for the game, and it always was going to be a big weekend for the game. Now they just made it a whole lot more interesting. So, look, I know there's a lot of people, specifically probably my viewership, that are very much against the game. It's not my cup of tea. It's not really up my alley either. For me, I wanted to check it out, and we'll kind of get to, where I'm going in a second. I want to check it out. I want to give it a chance. I want to literally put the controller in my hand, see how the game plays. I am not willing to give this game, 7 years to build itself up. I'm willing to give it a couple days of me playing it. If it hooks me, it hooks me. If it doesn't hook me, it doesn't hook me. That is as sincere as it gets. That's my mindset on this game. So, jumping to where we're at now, this was the weekend of the first, whatever you want to call it, early access for the game. And in order previously to get into this weekend, you had to pre-order it, or you had to be one of the codes that was given out because of a pre-order. Now, actually, a very generous follower of the channel gave me a code. I was going to participate this Saturday regardless. If you pre-order the game, you get in. Also, if you pre-order the game, I think you get 3 or 4 codes, and you can give those out, and somebody did give it to me. So I appreciate that, and that's what we were going to do, up until this point. Now, they made a really interesting change, and I want to give them a little bit of respect while also talking about the potential weakness here. There is a weakness or a problem, a potential problem that could come, but I do have a lot of respect for they dropped it. They dropped the requirements. So basically now is you almost have 2 just open access, open beta type weekends with the game. Now, not entirely. This weekend's one, you need to have PS Plus. Next weekend's one is a free-for-all, right? Any PC, PS5, whatever, you can play it next week. This week, it's a little bit more limited, but it's a lot more open than what it was originally going to be. So I do want to say, again, in terms of that respect type thing, I respect that decision, and I think that's probably, I don't know if it's the right decision. I'll get into that's my maybe controversial saying, is it the right decision? I think it's an interesting decision, and I give them respect for saying, you know what, we want to open it up to more people, okay? Now, a couple things I do want to, this is just speculation. This is just stuff I want to throw out. You guys let me know what you think about this in the comments. One thing I wondered immediately is, do they have enough people? Is there enough people that are going to play it this weekend, and is that why they changed it? And maybe that's being too harsh, but if you think about it, if this game is not being pre-ordered all that well, which we don't know, that's why it's speculation, right? Just kind of roll with me here, right? If it's not being pre-ordered a lot, and then if it is, yeah, you get 3-4 extra people, but say there's only 10, 20, 30,000 pre-orders. That's not, you know what I mean? There's a difference between that and a couple 100,000. So I don't know that for sure. I also don't know what they were expecting, right? Maybe they were expecting 45,000, and they thought, oh, we're only going to get 20,000 this weekend. We really wanted 40. You know what I mean? That's something I thought immediately was, is it not enough people, or not the amount of people that they wanted for this weekend? Okay, that was the first thing I thought of. Second thing, and this is a potential weakness, right? So while I can respect, hey, open it up. And one thing that comes with that, I actually mentioned this with Harry Potter Quidditch Champions, and I do think they're different examples. I absolutely believe that, because one risk and reward that you get when you open up a game like this is you're getting so many people in, right? You're getting all these people in. You can either make your point and leave a mark on that person positively or negatively, and depends on the game. When I pitched this idea, I pitched having an open beta for Quidditch Champions, right? I don't think it's going to happen, sadly, but I think it should. The reason I said it is I feel confident, and I think if people play Quidditch Champions, you would walk away saying, man, I'm getting that game, right? I would feel confident. I would think they would feel confident. For Concord, I don't know. Now, maybe that's a biasness of me with this kind of genre. That's totally, understandable or acceptable to say, hey, Alex, you're coming at it from a biased point of view. That's totally fine. The way I look at it is this game's risky. This game has the chance to not make a mark, to get you for an hour, and then you say, okay, I've seen all there is to see. And that is now that's a risk in any of these. That's a risk for Quidditch Champions. It's just I have confidence in it, right? For Concord, as I mentioned earlier, somebody like me, I'm going to give it this weekend and potentially next weekend. But to be honest with you, this weekend, I'm not going to sit there for 3, 4, 5, 6 days and hope that the game gets me on the 5th day. It needs to get you right away. There's so many games coming out in August. There's so many games coming out September, October, November. It's not a genre that's up my alley. They don't have time to, for me, they don't have time to build this game up for 6 months or a year to when it gets finally good. They don't have that for me. So that in my opinion, is a really big risk with this weekend. Whereas, if you limit it to just the pre-order people, you already got them. You could, I guess, have them cancel because of the beta. Like, that would definitely be a risk, right? But generally, you might not lose people for the last thing. For this thing, for right now, you are opening it up to PS Plus. There could potentially, now PS Plus has, tens of millions of players. They never all convert over, right? Say you have like 1.5 million people playing it this weekend, right? That's probably an okay number. It's probably within a range or so, right? 1.5 million. You might turn off 70% of them. You might turn off 90. You might get some, but that's where my confidence changes depending on the game. I don't think Concord has what it takes to now, but that's just me now. I don't, that's why I've always said I do want to give it a chance. Speculation, Alex, 3 days, 2 days before the beta launches, maybe one day actually. I didn't even know it was Thursday. I thought it was Wednesday. Right now I don't have a lot of confidence in the game. Maybe when I play it, suddenly I feel good, and that is the reward, right? It's a risky thing, but it could go the other way. If you're opening it up to more people and it's better than we think it is, you just got more people than you thought you were going to get, right? Now, if it's bad, you've just alienated all those people. So it's a huge risk, but there is a reward there if it works out. So I do continue to get interested, or more excited, I should say, about this. I'm planning on playing it at least. I think it launches tomorrow. I really don't know the days. I think it comes out tomorrow. If it does, I do want to play. I do want to have at least one video just kind of talking about my impressions of it. So definitely want to do something, and we'll kind of have to keep an eye on it, right, to see what other people are saying. What mark does this leave, and was this a good idea? At the end of the day. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel, bell icon turned on. I hope to see you all on the next one.